Welcome to Sports Adda Live. Hi Salil, very good evening.
Hey, good evening, Paras.
Yet again, we've got a superb encounter, a knockout match in between RCB and KKR. Aren't we all thoroughly excited?
Absolutely excited to see this match. More than the match that we saw yesterday, purely because both these teams are absolutely hungry for their IPL win. KKR is coming to this platform after a few years, and they've come literally to to win this after 7 years. RCB have never won this before, so clearly they are more hungrier. Kohli and his team look extremely hungry to win this, especially after their last outing with the table toppers Delhi, where they won
Yeah.
it off a six of the last ball.
Oh,
So I
yes.
think lot of excitement, lot of key players, lot of stars performing, and lot of combinations for this exciting game today, Paris.
You rightly put about both teams being in form and winning some cliffhangers and also losing some matches which they should have won. It's been topsy turvy for both, but it's a remarkable comeback from KKR's perspective. Given in the first leg of this IPL, they were really rugged and down at the bottom, and now they've qualified.
Well, yes, I think in one of the interviews, I think we heard Shakib Al Hasan saying that we are not worried about the eliminator because pretty much when we came into this tournament, every match was like a knockout match. We had to
Yeah.
get 5 or 6 wins to make sure that we make it. And we kind of played like that, taking one match at a time and building our team. And I think a few changes here and there have really helped them. They look like an extremely strong unit. Their bowling looks with the most amount of variety you've seen in
Yes.
possibly any IPL team this year, and that is, not just the spin department. You've also got their pacers who've done a lot of damage. So I think
Yes.
great job by the KKR team, Brendan McCullum and Alan Morgan and his team to bring them at this level.
The news out in the middle here is that RCB has won the toss and opted to bat first. We've got the lineup here for RCB, just walking you through. Regular faces. There's no change at all. Kohli stuck with the same side. You know, please just walk us through this, Salil.
Yeah, it doesn't look, and I don't think they require any change there. I think the only change they might have to make is Daniel Christian not coming at number 3 and just waiting it out because
True.
Shrikar Bharat has proved what he's capable of. I think Kohli, Devdutt Padikkal, Bharat, Glenn Maxwell, AB de Villiers, these are the guys who are going to give you the chunk of the runs there. You saw Shahbaz Ahmed can really hit a few, so I think he should come ahead of Daniel Christian. And then you've got George Garton and the other guys who can possibly do that. They really have a long tail if you see this. Harshal Patel, Mohammad Siraj and Yuzi Chahal. So they don't
Yeah.
really bat deep. But the top 5 guys that you see over there, Bharat with a lot of promise, and Kohli, Maxwell, De Villiers, I don't need to say much about what these guys are capable of. So
True.
all in all, I think looks like a strong RCB side. They are playing to their strengths, which
Yes.
is initially their batting, and their death bowling has been brilliant. So
Yes.
I think quite good and formidable for them to put this side up.
Right. Talking about Kohli here in the presentation. All right. Before that, we'll walk you through the KKR side here. Salil, just walk us through this as well, please.
Well, no change again. We thought the last couple of days there's a lot of buzz about Dre Russ joining this Kolkata
Yeah.
player playing 11 because they look like a totally different side with Andre Russell, but he misses out. And Shakib is still in purely because the pitches have not changed that much. And I think their formula of going with 3 spinners and 2 quicks has really worked.
Yes.
They've, like I call them, those 3 spinners, like the python of this IPL. They
Yeah.
strangle the opposition, and pretty much their economy rate will tell you it's always below 7 for
Five,
all of them
4.
throughout the tournament, and they've just been brilliant, at their craft. I think their mainstay has been strapping the opponent for runs and then being able to chase it easily with the help of their openers and their top 4 who really go at it. So their formula remains pretty simple. I think they rely more on their bowling to make their batting look easy,
Yeah.
and I think that's their school of thought this time around in this version of IPL, and it will be the same now in this eliminator as well.
True that, Salil. Now talking about what I saw and read in between the lines when Kohli was speaking. it was a clear war cry of if it's to be, it's up to me. The top five batsmen for RCB really have to click today against the Python attack that you just mentioned. But now taking the game away from the players and bringing this to the Sharjah factor. How do you think Sharjah is going to play today?
Well, Sharjah has been really different from what it's been back in 2020. I think last year round we got those huge scoring matches, a lot of
Yeah,
sixes, a lot of fours, a lot of high chases. It's been nothing like that of sorts. There have been 8 matches played in Sharjah this year in this version of IPL,
yeah,
and each of the 8 teams have played two matches each.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
the team batting second has won it 5 times, so it tells you that scores can be chased down in Sharjah. But at the same time, teams batting first have won it 3 times as well, and one of
yeah,
those teams is KKR, and one of those teams is RCB as well,
yeah,
because KKR scored 171 runs against Rajasthan Royals, and uh, and they defended that. They won it by
yeah,
86 runs thanks to their bowling attack, while RCB have scored it 160 and 150 on this ground and won once, and they've lost one when Chennai chased that down. So both these teams are capable from a batting perspective to score upwards of 150. It tells you that. And I think the Sharjah factor definitely is going to matter. I think chasing would have been a better option. And, pleasantly surprised with what Kohli said, purely because they're going by their strengths. That's what I feel now. And let's see how it pans out. I think he's
right.
looking at a really big score.
Right there, Salil. Excellent statistics. So we've got a fan comment here. KKR lethal at Sharjah. Big test for RCB batsmen. You rightly explained that and walked this through. Now just talking about this one aspect here, Salil. Are the key players? There are 11 individuals playing, but there are certain cricketers that you term as key players. Whom do you think are the key players for KKR to begin with?
Well, I think their key players for KKR have really been their openers. I think Rahul Tripathi, one of them. I think the top four has really fired, scoring 377 runs, the top scorer for KKR this season, and with an excellent strike rate of 142. So that is a big factor. It's not the runs that you make, not with the average
Yeah,
that you make. It's the strike
yeah,
rate and how early do they come. I
yeah,
think that's one of the big things that they have, along with a few contributions by Gill and Nitish Rana up front. I think both of
yeah.
them have made more than 300, almost 350 runs, and their
Yes.
strike rate is also around 120. So they've been contributing up top, and if one doesn't turn up, the other one turns up to the party. So I think one of
Yeah.
these guys are definitely the key players when it comes to their batting. When it comes to their bowling, Paras, I really feel their spin department has got a lot of variety. Sunil Narayan with an IPL under his belt and a lot of T20 wins to his name. He
Yeah.
really brings a lot. He's been absolutely deadly this time around. He's played 11 matches for his 10 wickets, and his economy is
Wow.
just 6.5. So he
Wow.
doesn't really give runs. I think in the last match, he just gave 18 runs. It was absolutely difficult for the batsman to get him away.
Yeah.
So I think one of these big factors are Narayan and Tripathi and the top guys. So everything will revolve around these guys. So you also have Varun Chakravarti, who's taken
Yes.
16 wickets and with a similar kind of an economy. But his job is mostly to strap them off runs, and it's really
Yeah.
difficult to get Varun Chakravarti away, and the other spinners end up taking the wickets.
True.
So I think quite greatly, KKR have got a well-rounded side, a little more than RCB, you can say. They've got
Yeah.
50-50 in each department. Someone or the other will definitely turn up. So that gives them that cutting edge for this match.
Right. It's the self belief and the recent performances and the experienced players and the big buys all coming together. A very well oiled unit, a terminology which you use on a regular basis. Now talking about the RCB here, they have ifs and bits players, but also some really important key players for them. Just walk us through that, Salil.
Well, I think the most important player you can say for RCB would be Glenn Maxwell,
Yes.
because I think something with Glenn Maxwell this year and with RCB is quite synonymous. One, Glenn
Yeah.
Maxwell has his favorite season and his best season back in 2014, and he's really there to prove a point. He's not been treated well by his previous clubs. in and out of a few clubs, not ending
Yeah.
with the best of ways. And I think he finds RCB as a companion in a similar kind of a situation where the team itself has not done so well in spite of being so promising. So their stories are quite similar in many ways. I think what he's done to this RCB team is made its batting and its middle order look absolutely deadly. Even
Yes.
without the real services of AB de Villiers this time around, I think Maxwell has managed to score 2 runs short of 500 runs with a strike rate of 147. So I think he's been the main guy for RCB, and
Yeah.
everyone else has batted around him. Although Kohli and Padikkal have opened the innings and scored 350, 380 runs, it's not been at the greatest of strike rates. It's been around 120, 125. But
Yeah.
Maxwell
True.
is the
True.
guy who is the impact player, who's made this difference to the RCB side and got those runs. Mind you, he's the only guy who's hit a lot of spinners for boundaries and sixes this time around. He's played around 60 odd balls and scored 110, 112 odd runs in this phase of UAE. So it's not that he's really scared of the spin. He will play with the spin, and he has all those reverse shots to negate the spin and make sure that there is an advantage for him wherever he's playing.
You know,
So I
you know,
think
just
he's
just,
one
just
of the
to talk
biggest
about,
X
yeah.
factors.
Just to cut you here, sorry Salil, talking about Maxwell, there are certain players that we see कि इसका आज drive अच्छा हो रहा है, आज ये batting अच्छी करेगा. But now we talk about Maxwell, इसका reverse fit height आज बराबर लग रहा है, तो आज ये इसका दिन है. It's such a different thing, about Maxwell.
Yep, true, and he's kind of displayed that. So he's one of the key players, along with the purple cap holder Harshal Patel. You can't count them
Yes.
out. Although RCB has been the worst team to take wickets in the first 6 overs, they've
Yeah.
been the best team to take the wickets in the last 4 overs. So clearly they can restrict a lot of those KKR batsmen from scoring towards the end of the match. So that with 30 wickets and an economy of around 8, I think Harshal Patel is one of those key players who do it.
Super. Again, we've got a fan comment here by Bhavik. Who will turn the ball more tonight on this track? Harshal's off cutters or rest of the spinners? This one's for you,
Well,
Salil.
well, I think Harshal will definitely put all the change of pace that he's got. Whether it turns or no, he would really like to take wickets and
Hmm.
stop RCB for runs. It's not about the wickets. Stop KKR from getting those runs. I think he might want to better his overall tournament economy of 8.4, or maybe
Yeah.
if his batsmen score at a at a strike rate better than that.
True that, Salil. Now, when we talk about key players, we've spoken about, the names that you just took. Now there are certain players who are called game changers. If this individual stands till the eighth over or till the 15th over, the match complexion completely changes. So now talking about KKR, whom would you pick to be the game changers tonight for KKR?
And I think considering the ground that's Sharjah, I think hitting more sixes will make a lot of sense and will be kind of the detrimental factor. Let's
Yeah.
see that towards the end. Hopefully, this prediction comes true. But yes, because it's not easy to score runs off the bat, and by running a lot of runs, I think hitting those sixes and those boundaries will make a big difference. I think Venkatesh Iyer provides that comfort to
Yeah.
KKR up front. He's been a great find, and scoring a few runs. Already scored 250 runs at a very good strike rate. Taken a few wickets, and I think he's one of those factors who can make those extra runs. And RCB is not having the best of records to take wickets in the first 6 overs, so you can assume that he might go ahead and hit a few. So one of
Yeah.
the game changers from a KKR perspective is him, and the other guy that I would pick is from his bowling department, which is Lockheed Ferguson, somebody who's just
Yes.
played 5 matches and he's got 10 wickets, and his economy for a fast bowler in the subcontinent wicket is 6.2. So you can just imagine
Wow.
he's the most economical bowler for KKR with these stats in this IPL 2021.
Wonderful. Amazing stats. There's certain stats that are too good to believe, but they actually exist. Salil, game changers from RCB's perspective would be whom?
Well, from although he's made just 300 runs in this IPL, I think the game changer will be AB de Villiers. Purely for the ground is small, he is due, and he can score those big ones. He will be one of the game changers for today. We don't need to talk about his stats. Everybody knows AB extremely well. But I think from the bowling department, somebody who's made a radical change in his bowling, right from the first version in
Yeah.
April to this one is Yuzi Chahal. I think
Yes.
him bowling with 16 wickets to his name in this tournament with an economy of 7.3, he will be
Yes.
absolutely deadly and possibly can be used in the first 6 overs to put
Yeah.
the brakes on the KKR batsman.
Yeah. So there we have it: King Kohli versus Captain Morgan. Salil, before we leave, can I have your predictions for the evening?
Well, I think both teams look quite balanced, but I think
Yeah.
numbers don't lie, Paras, and I feel
Yeah.
the numbers are tilting towards the KKR purely because they've got a better balance, purely because they've got toss on their side. Although they've lost it, they wanted to field first, and I think they might be able to strangle RCB a little towards the end of the day, unless you have these heroics from these great batsmen like Maxwell and AB de Villiers.
Yeah.
I think KKR should prevail today.
There you have it. Salil chooses KKR for today's evening. Once again, thanks a lot, Salil, for joining us. We'll catch up in the mid-match presentation. Live action coming up. This was Sports at Live. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Salil.
Thanks.